Hello, second graders. Good morning. Today for reading, we're going to be practicing reading our poetry with expression. So when readers read poetry with expression, they use their voice to make their poem more powerful. And to do this, we have a few things that we want to think about. The first thing that we want to do is we want to make our voice match the mood or tone of the poem. So let's take a look at this poem called Storm. So I can tell right away just by looking at this picture and the title and a little bit of the words, that if I take a quick sneak peek of the poem, that this poem has a very specific kind of mood. Some of the words that are jumping out of me are howled and cracked and crash and thunder. So some of those words kind of tell me how this poem wants to be read, what kind of expression I should use with my voice. So I want to kind of make my voice match that kind of dark and dreary mood of a storm. And this poem would be read or would sound very differently if I read it in kind of like a bright, bubbly way. So let's hear if I read it kind of like that, like a bright, bubbly, fun, happy way. Storm. Last night the wind howled, lightning cracked. Before the thunder's boom, we all heard a crash. How silly does that sound? So we need to definitely make sure that our voice matches the tone, and this is a totally different tone than that fun and silly voice. So let's try again. Storm. Last night, wind howled, lightning cracked. Before thunder's boom, we heard a crash. Our tallest tree snapped and lay across the lawn. A schooner's mast tossed wild waves in an ocean of grass. This morning, all I can see is a lot more sky and a broken tree. Now, I think that sounded a little bit better than my bright and bubbly voice, but I'm thinking about the ending there, and I don't know if that ending still has that kind of dark and stormy feel. I'm thinking, well, it's talking about how, in the morning they noticed the tree had been broken. And I know when I see a tree after a big storm in my neighborhood that has fallen to the ground, it kind of makes me feel kind of sad. So I'm thinking that I need to do something else as a reader, and I kind of need to make a choice about how I want to read this poem, because it may have more than one expression. So I think that first stanza I'm going to read with that dark and dreary kind of stormy voice. And then the end there, I think I'm going to change to a little bit of a sadder tone to kind of match the mood of what it's talking about there. So let me give a little bit of a reread. Let me try one more time. Here we go. Storm. Last night, wind howled, lightning cracked. Before the thunder's boom, we heard a crash. Our tallest tree snapped and lay across the lawn. A schooner's mast tossed wild waves in an ocean of grass. This morning, all I can see is a lot more sky and a broken tree. So do you hear how I use my voice a little bit to kind of change the mood at the end there? So I use my expression to kind of make it go from a stormy feeling to a little bit more sad. So today I want you to practice the same thing. I want to hear you using expression when you are reading your poetry. So to remember, you want to match your voice to the tone or mood of the poem and make decisions about how you want to read. So first you're going to choose a poem and practice reading it out loud. And then you're going to record yourself reading your poem. Happy reading, friends!